Hello everyone, welcome back to IMO Reviews. Today we are discussing The Nun 2, Back in the Habit. So, believe it or not, I do actually have quite a strange nostalgia for the first Nun movie. That being that myself, my cousin and her partner quite excited for this movie's release. We did like The Conjuring 2, that's probably the best one in the franchise, at least by memory. And The Nun was a big part of that movie. We went in with fingers crossed and walked out completely disappointed. But The Nun became one of those movies that we just laughed about. So much so that we got it on DVD, grouped up again, closed the curtains, watched it again, and just laughed from start, middle and end. It's a hilariously bad film. I like it enough to have kept the DVD. You never know. One night it might be fun to chuck it on again. But how about The Nun 2? Does it up the material or does it just get worse? Well, there are a handful of positives. I think the set design and the locations are pretty good. They do have a good vibe to them. They are fitting of the genre. And I do like how much movement through these places there are. I did start to get a feel for the layout. And I do like some of the performances here. They shine despite the material. And finally, I suppose this is a positive, but yes, The Nun 2 does keep up the trend of being very unintentionally funny. I'm leaning towards calling this a comedy rather than a horror. That's how many times I laughed at this. In fact, I laughed more at The Nun 2 than I did Strays. And Strays is apparently the comedy between them. Apparently. But that really is it for the positives, unfortunately. And it's time to get into a big old list of bad things this movie does. First up, the lighting. We have got to talk about the lighting in this movie. It is so consistently poor that after 20 minutes you will want to pull your hair out and scream, "For God's sake, someone turn a light on!" It's actually to a detriment of the movie. At points people's faces are shaded, you can't even really see what their expression is. Just light a candle, for God's sakes. I mean, do something, because there are many a moment where I can barely see you. The script and the plot is just so boring. It takes itself so seriously. It genuinely thinks that this plot is like the most gripping thing ever written, and I assure you, it is not. But because it's so hell-bent on thinking that this is actually interesting or entertaining, the film just comes across as overly serious. It absolutely has its own head up its arse. And it is not coming out for love nor money. It's such a generic, cliche, jump scare horror movie. You can count them in how many times there are jump scares and how predictable they are. The quiet, bang! Oh yeah, another nun. Ooh. I mean, a nun's even scary. They're literally God people, aren't they? They like all the God stuff. They like good things. I'm not very religious, if it doesn't show. Why would a nun be scary? If anything, they're nice people. It's just so poorly written. It really is bottom of the barrel. These characters are so stupid. The music is awful. Some of the setups as well are just, again, generic and cliche. Oh no, I'm hanging onto this plank of wood and the nail's buckling and I need to make it. Oh, just in time. Everyone's screaming, and it's not a good screaming, it's like screeching and it's just constant. It hurts your ears. I had a really tough time with The Nun 2. It's just doing so much and yet equally doing fuck all at the same time. It's so boring. It really has nothing to say. It has no justification for its own existence. It's so over the top. It's so self-serious that you can't help but laugh at it. And if you haven't guessed already, I'm going to give The Nun 2, Back in the Habit, a 1 out of 10. This was just such a thankless experience. It's so dull, it makes that first film feel like a 5 out of 10. And I assure you people, that first movie is not a 5 out of 10. But that's how deeply we've sunk here, good lord. There'll probably still be a third one. I almost guarantee there will be. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please do hit the comment section as well. Have you seen The Nun 2? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, if you haven't had enough of this crazy ginger, you can always click on these suggested videos right here and get yourself lost in an IMO wormhole. But if not, take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.